Welcome back, Fantasy Moto fans, to another episode of RotoX Fantasy Preview. My name is Donnie, and this is your Red Bud 2 preview video. It's going to be hopefully our last low edit, low effort video. As you can see, I'm still in my editing, streaming setup. I'm so stoked for next week off so that I can get all the things I need to finish so that I can finally get back to our normal format and schedule. But I want this one to be quick. I know a lot of you guys are going to have to work, or at least are going to be some sort of busy tonight and Monday morning. So I'm going to get right into it. Reviewing Red Bud 1. We had a grand total of 5,065 players set their lineup for Red Bud 1. That is down just a little bit, down 60 from the week before. Of those 5,000, 3,405 were entered into the Championship League, down just 18 from the week before. I'm actually surprised those numbers are so good, considering it was on a weird day and at a weird time. The perfect team would have scored you 590 points. Throw in two very easy to guess FFLs, and you could have had 620. Nobody did that, though. The most popular team was 433. So if you just picked the 4 or the 8 obvious guys, that was worth 433. I personally scored 470, which I really needed that win. I think I was only ranked like 212th overall, but hey, I will take it after how bad my first 3 rounds were. In the RotoX League, R. Kerr J 99 led the week with 517, and they also took over the lead for the season at 1,829. In the Championship League, the highest score went to Surf Skate Moto with a 546 on the day, and Very Super Pumped is leading the season with 1,896. Of the 16 All-Stars in the field, 63% of them scored a perfect 50, 10 of them, by the way. Of the double point scores, though, way down. We only had 24 double point eligible riders actually score 44 or more, which is only 37%, the lowest since week 1. Jumping into our Red Bud 2 preview, I have 5 riders as always for you to look at, as well as some FFL tips. But before we do that, make sure that you like the video, leave a comment below if you would. Just let me know how you like this format. In all honesty, I'm kind of digging the lower production value kind of thing. It feels less like I'm putting on a show and more like we're just kind of hanging out talking. But let me know how you feel about it. I obviously want to add the graphics back, but as far as do you prefer a room that looks like a real place rather than just the white void that I'm normally broadcasting from? But let's get right into the content that you're here for. The first of the 5 riders I want you to look at is your 250 All-Star. Give me Jet Lawrence. This is not something that I would normally suggest. I'm usually out on young guys, I'm out on hot shots, I'm out on rookies, but Jet has been about as much of a lock as they come. At a 7 handicap, Jet has gone 6-7, 4-5, 4-8 when he's not DNFing in the mud. I'm going to go ahead and give him a free pass for those 2 DNFs at Loretta Lynn 2. Those are the exact kind of numbers that I'm looking for out of a higher handicap guy. He's got top 5 potential, with his lowest finish being an 8th. I am fully in on Jet this weekend. Moving on to a 250 rider that is not an all-star. Give me Jalik Swole at an 11. Jalik quietly had a really good race on his return. 21-15 might not light anybody on fire, but he was a 13 handicap and he only went down to an 11, so that 21 would still get you double points, as well as a 15th with an 11 handicap getting you over 30, so I would take that out of a guy that's an 11. I was a little worried about his concussion last week. That's why I didn't pick him on Friday, but I think I'm all in now. Before we get to the 450 picks, I just want to say that I believe Darian Sinai and Ty Masterpool have lost a good bit of their value already, but if you did not pick them last race, be sure to pick them now, because whatever value they do have left will be 100% gone by the time we leave Red Bud. So if you can pick them and you're interested, please pick them now. Moving on to the 450 All-Star, again, going against breaking my rule, give me Chase Sexton. Normally, I'm out on rookies, I'm out on young guys, but if there's one thing I'll say about Sexton is he's not flashy. His entire career, he just logs motos after moto after moto and finds a way to stay out of trouble, and again, that's something I'm looking for in an All-Star. Not counting the Loretta Lynn Mutter Moto 2 in which he DNF'd, he has finished in the top 6 in all but one moto, and that was a 13th in his very first moto of the season after he went down. But hey, even going down and finishing 13th is still a pretty strong finish. The first 450 non-all-star rider I want you to target is Freddie Noren. I have no idea what happened with Freddie's bike. He was leading, or he was in the top, 6 or 7? I know he was battling with Tomac, and then his bike just stopped running altogether. It just stopped. He just slowed to a crawl and then to a stop. but he finished 10th in the second moto. That's where I expect to see Freddie, right around that 10th place finish. So at a 4, there's a lot of value there. If he goes 10-10, that's worth a 6-6, which would be 30. That'd be 60 points. That's good enough for me from a guy like Freddie. And with a little bit of potential wetness in the forecast, that's only going to play into his hands a little bit better, as during the mutter, he finished 4th in the first moto. And my high handicap hero of the week, there's actually a lot of good high handicap picks in the 450 class, but I gotta give it up to Justin Rodbell. He's a 10, which is not crazy high, but that's kind of my criteria, is a 10 or higher. I had Rodbell pegged as like a wet guy. He went 12-12 at Loretta 2. The only other data I really had from him dated back to like 2018 in another mud race when he did well. But hey, he's gone 15-18, 21-16 since then. So a 10 handicap, that's right where I want him with that 16-15. Fun fact, on Friday he qualified 19th, started 18th, 17th, finished 16th, 15th. Just kind of a weird pattern that I picked up on. Rodbell also has 0 DNFs on the season, something very rare for a guy that is that deep. Honorable mention of Grant Harlan, who has gone 19, 19, 20, 21, is another guy that you might want to look at if you're comfortable picking high handicap guys. Moving on to your FFLs. In the 250, I have Shane McElrath again. He has 3 of 8. He's the only guy with 3. There's only 2 guys with even 2, and he has 3 of them. I don't know what's up with Dylan's shoulder, apparently. He hurt his shoulder. He looked fine in both motos, but apparently he hurt his shoulder, so I would probably stay away with Dylan. I think a star bike in general, if you want to go Tie Master Pull, there's probably not a bad. I don't have an argument against it, other than Shane has pulled an FFL on every round but 1 so far, so he's the guy that I would be going after. In the 450, there's nobody else to pick but Osborne. Osborne is the only 450 rider that has more than 1, and he just nailed from gate drop to checkered flag, 1-1, led every single lap. So why wouldn't you pick that guy when you're racing the exact same track again? My way too early starting 8 is led by Jet Lawrence on the 250 is my all-star for the reasons that was already talked about before. I have Brandon Hartraft at a 2. He finished well last week, but his handicap somehow went up 1, so I'll take the extra points. I have Joe Shimoda at a 7. Shimoda's been a little erratic, but I think he's going to turn around. This is more just a believer pick. And as mentioned before, I have Jalik Swoll also on my team. Looking at the 450s, Chase Sexton for the reasons we already talked about before, Freddie Noren and Justin Rodbell for the reasons already mentioned before, and I also have Grant Harlan for the reasons we already mentioned before. This is a pretty easy week, nothing cute, nothing fancy. And for FFLs, same again. I have Shane locked in for a 250 FFL. I may add Zach Osborne before Monday's gate drops, but I'm definitely locked in on Shane. Don't forget to follow RotoX on Twitter and on Instagram if you want some up-to-the-minute fantasy news. We'll have weather reports, we'll have qualifying results, we'll have injuries. We will also have some race day stats, memes, information, whatever as the race goes on. Kind of a companion for you if you want a little bit of extra content while the race is going on and somebody to talk to in between the motos. Don't forget that there's also a Patreon. This will be the very last race that you can still get in on $5 and still get the all of the information, including the podcast that goes over every handicap painstakingly, and the enhanced cheat sheet, which has every bit of data that you could possibly imagine. I'm going to cut this one short, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, good luck this weekend and have a happy holiday. Take care, guys.